And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Big show tonight. TigerBait Live. Mike Scarborough here. Buddy Songy to my left. Got a big show tonight. Obviously, LSU football, 3-1. South Alabama coming in on Saturday night. And probably a much tougher opponent than a lot of people think. And it's going to be a brutal next 5 weeks, I think. And LSU men's and women's basketball, both with practices in the last 48 hours. I was out at both of them. We can talk about that. Matt McMahon was today, and I tell you what, between listening to him, listening to the way he's talking, looking at his roster, and hung around practice probably for about an hour, I think this team is actually could be NCAA tournament bound. And he looks excited about it. So, all right, everybody, welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike. Mike's been very busy. Of course, this is our multitasking season. Look, LSU football still on the top of your list, and you hate to say these games at this point, but let's be honest, Mike, this is a must-win situation for LSU. They can't afford to stub that toe. You don't want to lay an egg before the open date. If you win, you're 4-1. Ole Miss, of course, will get a challenge. They finally play a decent team. Kentucky goes into Ole Miss this weekend. Ole Miss plays 6 straight weeks, and including before they play LSU. LSU has the open date next weekend. They play at Carolina, so we'll get a little bit of better feel for them. But, man, the schedule looks tough. The SEC is tough, and right now there are 5 teams that are certainly looking like they are going to be in the mix for playoffs. CFP, somebody called in and said LSU in the playoffs. Let's go one game at a time. You got to tackle Geo, you got to tackle Fluff, and you got to beat South Alabama. You text me from the press box and said, look, that game could be tougher. They have been on fire offensively. So big game, appreciably better atmosphere, temperature, and enjoyment. It was so hot. I heard so many people were bummed out because it was so hot this past week.
I think that number of 70 people that needed medical attention, I think that was one side of the stadium.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot more than that. But they, obviously that's made some national news a little bit. I don't know if that matters to ESPN in the future, but it's going to be a tough game this weekend. South Alabama, they got that big bruising running back. That's you look at their highlights, and I think they score at least 30 points.
Yeah,
South Alabama.
I just look. Everybody knows that people are disappointed that Perk is done for the year and probably done for his career. So we wish him the best. Way too early to ascertain what's going to happen. We'll find out tomorrow from Coach Kelly if he's already had the surgery. But I was looking at it, Mike. ACL, what's that? We're talking about John Emery coming back from it. Talking about Zy Alexander coming back from it. It is not a quick. 6 months is one thing, but when you start talking about October,
I think he comes back.
Well, to LSU,
but I think he comes back to college football. Then you're going to get that whole question: would he transfer somewhere? Do you think he needs a third linebackers coach in the college level because nobody knows what to do with him?
I don't think anybody knows where the fit is. He's a tweener. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But you look, October, November, December, January, combine in February, March, draft in April, into April. So I think he's going to go pro more than likely. But where is he going to play at that spot? I don't know. Maybe you had some inside info.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't know which way this is going to go.
So now you're going to see Wes Weeks playing. Wes has been banged up. He's the older brother of Whit Weeks. He wears 33. He'll play Mike. Greg Penn will slide over to Will. And, of course, Whit Weeks is going to play Sam.
They said next man up would be Xavier Atkins beyond them.
Xavier Atkins, and they're good linebackers on that defense, but they're young. Deshaun Spears had an interview with the media, finally got a chance to talk to some of the freshmen. So if you missed that, check that out. A lot of new players. Want to see Trey Des Green get more involved in the passing game. Who cares if he's a tight end or a big wide receiver? Want to see 14, and would love to see a few more reps with Caden Durham. Josh Williams last week, 13 reps. Caleb Jackson, 9. and Caden Durham only had 8 opportunities.
You know,
that's obscene.
I'll say this after Saturday, other than red zone and coaching decisions on 4th down, a few bit in the red zone. I like the play calling for the most part, and I always like to get after Frank in running back rotation. But I agree with what BK said about the throws to the running backs, basically essentially being runs if they're going to put that many people in the box. So I don't have near the issues with the offense that is with the defense.
Yeah.
And the defensive issues. Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, there's some things you can think, but here's the code for you. When BK starts saying this is your team and there's no free agency and everything else that he said in the post game, that's because he knows it is what it is, and this is what it's going to be. And it's we can when you're in the 1 month into the season, it's a Jim's and Joe's problem. Bottom line.
Yeah, and it's also a problem with playing the damn seniors. Let's be honest. We've seen Sage Ryan, Major Burns, all these guys. It's time to throw some of the pups out into the deep end of the swimming pool. By the way, we talked before the season, and we were both worried about D-tackle and DM. And let's be honest, right now, Bo Davis and Kevin Peoples have done a fantastic job.
And by the way, and you're right. When we start lamenting about how bad the defense is and the issues, even though the defensive line takes their lumps, they're well coached.
Yeah.
I think Suggs has played well. Pi has had some difficulty, and the ends are making a lot of money for themselves in the future.
First sack for Dominic McKinley this last week. Jay Suggs, his first sack. Ahmad Bro. So what I'm saying is those 3 guys are going to play more, and not to pick on Sage Ryan, Major Burns, and the other DBs, but people have seen this same steady diet of what's going on. They've got to tackle and cover better from the safety position. I think everybody will agree with that, but should be a barn burner, going to be appreciably better. Georgia and Alabama play at 6:30, so if you're like me, you won't see that game. See, that's why I watch them on TV.
No, I have a tab open on this laptop in the press box.
But anyway, that's the big one in the conference, and Tennessee is the real deal. So to me, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and Ole Miss. That's 5 really good teams. Missouri's played a weak schedule. They're still undefeated. They're at 6. So Tigers got. And
Missouri has gone what everybody predicted in the preseason, looking at their schedule.
Yeah, their schedule's easy, but they've still got some tough ones. But it is a very, very tough SEC so far this year.
Vanderbilt gave them a scare. Vanderbilt's been playing good football.
Andy's playing good.
Arkansas
is also better this year.
Yeah, and that's a scary game.
Mm-hmm.
So when I start talking about LSU losing 3 of the next 5, it could be possible.
No, it ain't going to happen.
You don't think it's going to happen? I think it could be 4 out of the next 5.
No, I disagree.
They're absolutely losing 3 of the next 5. That's my prediction.
I don't know.
Roger Ramjack. Hey, Mike and Buddy. Good to be with you. Always enjoy the show. Go Tigers. Everyone hit the like button. How do you grade Coach Olson so far? His group has experienced, but has sorely underperformed.
Boy, it's like a combination pizza. You talk about the coach, you talk about the personnel and who plays, what formation, down and distance, what nickel dime, the whole 9 yards. They just have not tackled well. Now, I think they're getting better slowly and surely. They're starting to get more pressure from the edge, 10 sacks in the last 2 games. But now that Perkins is out, we'll see what they do schematically different. But I want to see them get back to the quarterback and look. Gio is the quarterback, and he's 220, and Fluff is 219.
I just realized I got you on the record.
What's that?
Because you say they're going to beat Ole Miss, A&M, and they're going to win one of those games. Because for me to say they're going to lose 3 of the next 5, that's Ole Miss, Alabama, and at A&M.
No, South Alabama, Ole Miss,
Arkansas. That's 5 games. I'm talking about 4.
And
that's the next 5 games.
You said they'd lose 3 or 5.
3 of the next 5.
Okay, we'll see.
You
can put me on record. I just think they've got a better chance. By the way, 2 years ago, Ole Miss was undefeated. LSU beat them. That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Alabama came in here after losing to Tennessee. They beat them. I don't know if they can play the way they're playing right now and accomplish those things.
Yeah,
they got to play better, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm still holding out hope, folks.
Yeah, Fire 3-4 Mike today. I heard that Nuss has a little brother. Yes, that's Colson Nussmeyer, and filmed a good bit of him at the Friday Night Lights and took a bunch of photos of him. Great looking kid. He's getting a lot of offers. And the 27 class, as far as Joe Sloan's board, between Louisiana kids, you got Elijah over at Dunham. You got Ziegler up in North Louisiana. You got Nussmeyer's little brother. I mean, there's one or two more out there that he's had at camp. 27 in the board that he's got to look at, and he hasn't offered yet. He hasn't offered anybody for 27. So everybody's wondering when's he going to offer Elijah Haven.
Yeah.
You got Nussmeyer's little brother. How does that all play out?
Well, here's another caveat to the situation. I don't think any of us, maybe even the people out there, I don't think anybody, and you might have said, oh, Nuss is going to light it up. But the way he started now on these mock drafts, if he continues to do like he's done in these first 4 games against the SEC teams, he will probably go pro because they've got him mock draft in the first or second round. Now, I never thought we'd be talking about that after 4 games, but let's see if he can continue. Ball security, 13 touchdowns, only 2 INTs, 70+% completion. He did get the break of having the pick 6 taken off the stat board because the dumbass defensive end wanted to take a cheap shot at him, and so he got the benefit of that. But he's played better. We talked about it last week. He's played better than we thought. But can you believe it? Did you ever think this early he'd be getting overtures that he could be a first-round pick? Early.
Well, I mean, I mean, seriously, when you look at Joe Burrow's 2018, Jaden Daniels 2022, and through 4 games, each of those, who's had the better 4 games?
Yeah.
Nussmeier has.
Absolutely.
So, what were we saying in the preseason? Wouldn't it be great if he had the same type of junior seasons that those two had? Well, he's ahead of them.
Yep, he is.
So,
and of course, the other caveat to that,
for now,
if he does leave and blow up and go high, now you got Underwood coming in. You probably keep Ricky Collins and AJ Swan and Colin Hurley because they're going to be competing. But you'd have a quarterback spot with little.
And by the way, I say for now with Nussmeier, I think his production is going to be consistently better than average or high level, even against better opponents.
Got to keep him healthy. Got to keep him standing up. LSU's only given up 2 sacks for the year. Will Campbell, by the way, got back to playing like Will Campbell, got a national award for the game he had last weekend against UCLA. Andy
Whitaker, I think it'll be a big mistake if Perk declares for the draft. He needs another year. I tend to think you're right, Andy. And then the next question is, would it be at LSU? Fire 3-4 Mike. Hey, Mike, do you know why YouTube will play an ad while you were playing one of your sponsors' ads? I don't know why they do that. I don't know what their algorithm senses or why that's happening, but it's not supposed to. Spectrum Willcast, you, buddy. How do you think the defense will perform without Harold Perkins?
Who is that?
Spectrum Willcare.
Spectrum, good to talk with you. Good to see you. Look, everybody knows that Perk came in and lit this place on fire. Matt House did not play him the first 5 or 6 games his freshman year. He got in for 7 plays against Tennessee. All of a sudden, he goes to Arkansas, 3 or 4 sacks, couldn't stop him, was phenomenal against Alabama, 7.5 sacks his first year. Last year, tried him in a different spot, 5.5 sacks, 0 sacks, 0 hurries, 1.5 tackles for losses, total of 17 tackles. Those aren't Perk numbers. I made a dumbass of myself thinking that he was going to get a sack or a sack and a half last week. It just didn't ever, for whatever reason, happen on the field this year. So you're going to miss him. You're going to miss the persona of 7 and what he brings to the table. But from a productivity standpoint,
I don't know that there's going to.
I mean, no disrespect to Perk. They'll have somebody that at least they have win weeks. Now we get to see what his brother West Weeks looks like this week.
Yeah. Brad David, good evening, Mike. I've really been enjoying your shows. I love this format so much more than the 104.5 shows. Thank you for that, Brad. Spread the word. Andy Whitaker, Bear Alexander quit on his team, will redshirt and transfer out. Pathetic, in my opinion.
The kid that was at Georgia and then went to USC. I didn't hear that today.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Buddy and I were talking about the quarterback at UNLV before we started the show. Buddy agrees with me that we believe the quarterback story, that they didn't ante up the 100 grand, but that just shows you where we are in this NIL deal. And truly, the athletes hold all the cards.
Well, look, when you get promised X amount of dollars and then he says, look, I'm going to play, and he's played well. And of course, they're 3-0.
But this young man's also learned a valuable lesson at an early age. Get it in writing.
Yeah. Well, but still,
this whole I had an oral agreement, or no, son, you don't transfer from a college and move across country for, you better have it in writing.
Well, look, Coach Kelly was asked about that.
Get a notary. Huh?
Kelly was asked about this on the teleconference. And folks, it is not simple. Some LSU players have gone in and asked for more money. Judkins is a perfect example. He wanted more money. He kept pestering them. They finally got tired of his BS. He went to Ohio State. He said, I want to come back. They told him, blank you. And this is happening all across the country. But if you tell a quarterback, now the worst case was Jaden Rashada, remember, from Florida, which happened, and he was supposed to get what? Incredible amount of money, millions. 7-8 million. I forgot what it was. 13 million, whatever it was. And that went to hell in a handbasket. So
this segues me into, real quick, for an off topic, LSU Women's Basketball recruiting. Everybody knows about the number one player in the country, Aaliyah Chavez, who everybody in the country covets. And the word I get is that LSU is no longer recruiting her. And whatever price you heard out there, I was told that it's $1.5 million that they're asking. And so LSU is out.
Well, wait, is that a year?
A year.
Holy cow. Now, the Stanford pitcher who left and went over to Texas Tech, remember?
Mm-hmm.
She got $1 million or $1.1 million for 2 years. She didn't want to go, but her mom and daddy said, come on, let's do this. But 1.5 for women's best. Here's the thing you and I were talking about before the show. We get back to this, if you get paid now versus if you get paid on the back end. Angel Reese had 50,000, 70,000 Twitter followers when she came to LSU. I saw something the other day. Angel Reese is worth $8 million, almost $8 million. What I'm saying to you is that whether you get $1 million up front or not, LSU has been really good with the brand and NIL. And so obviously, if you just want that to come play, somebody's
is that Angel's net worth or what she makes annually?
No, that's her net worth now. That's accumulating everything.
Okay.
But look, Laje's got, I'm sure.
But her earning potential is going to continue to grow.
Oh, it's unbelievable. So once again, Jaden Daniels came to LSU, not for NIL. I know it was not that big a deal then, but look what he's making. Look what Joe Burrow made. There are reasons to come. You can get paid now. You can get paid later. But development and now this thing is getting out of hand. Somebody's telling them that market value is going to get taken care of for them.
Or they know they're getting that.
Yeah,
so, exactly. Someone's going to give them that.
So if you don't like it, it's just the lay of the landscape right now.
Yeah.
Crazy money. Crazy
town. Fire 3449, Mike. I'm not complaining about the offense at all, but a reverse to put on a tape for Ole Miss to worry about may help. I mean, look, they've done a lot of end arounds. I mean, we were watching a ton of end arounds at practice we haven't seen half of those that we saw. S. Young with a super chat. Thank you for that. Nuss comes back next year with an improved defense. Is that a national championship competing team? No, it's not. I think they need 2 more years of recruiting.
I'm going to agree with you because one of the things I think LSU's got to get appreciably better at is physicality. You know, talking to people at the line of scrimmage. Seriously, if there's ever a weekend, they should have just power drove somebody. It should have been last weekend. They have scored 16 points in the first quarter in 4 freaking games. They've got to start fast.
2026 is the year to watch.
But I'm just saying they got to start faster. You're asking about a national championship. I just said Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Ole Miss. They're all ahead of LSU right now. Whether you want to hear it or not, they have better teams. It's hard to say program now. It's more of a team because of the transition, NIL transfer portal. But LSU is in They're in the upper.
Yeah, but because, while quarterbacks, you've had some hits, and like was brought up and Saban said on game day Saturday, there's a reason why they're in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You do have to build your program through the high school ranks.
Absolutely.
You
do need to take portal at some time.
And regardless of, and I'm not going after Buddy or anybody because, we all have somebody that look at what I was saying about Aaron Anderson last year, but now he's that guy. But there's too many guys that we all try to spin in a gold strand, and it's there's a reason why they're in the portal and getting FCS kids and hoping they're going to be SEC caliber and all this stuff and undersized at their positions and just getting bodies. That's not going to get you in the same league with Georgia,
no,
and Texas and all the rest.
By the way, Georgia is a slight favorite in that game. Kirby had trouble beating Nick Saban. I forgot what his record was, 1-5 or 1-6, whatever. But that's a big game. Those two teams expect to be in the playoffs. Look, Xavier Thomas was an excellent transfer in from Mississippi State. And, oh, by the way, you talked about the play calling. Can we see a little bit more on the reverses? And since you are so high on the play calling, can you get rid of some of that inside zone crap right up the gut? Because it stinks. LSU's averaging 104 yards rushing a game.
Chucky, Mike, USA is not going to score 30 points.
Let's get him now.
I tell you what, I've talked to a bunch of media guys, and we kind of were saying, let's set an over and under. And I'm telling you that the consensus, and of course, you guys can have your fun ripping on media, but the consensus we came up to was 32. Now, so Chucky's taking the under on the 32.
Yeah. I just know.
I think LSU wins like 55 to 30 something, but I think they do score 30.
Yeah. Well,
look, you've had some much lesser teams offensively score multiple touchdowns against LSU.
And we get back to talking about this each and every week. Coach Kelly is adamant, do your job. Well, I got to bring it to you. I asked him the question, Coach, you won the toss at Carolina. You defer. Ended up winning that.
I was thinking today, what does he do today with their offense?
Well, but
if he wins a toss.
But here's where we go back to last week. He wins a toss. They go down and score a touchdown. But here's the kicker. UCLA scores right before half and then gets the football. That is a double whammy. The last 4 minutes of the first half and first 4 of the second half are so crucial. So you can't be giving away strategical moves like that against Ole Miss, Bama.
Yeah, because you never know where you never know where you're gonna have a punt block, and that's gonna flip your whatever in your mind you think the average, how many touches you're gonna get offensively. Because it's stealing a possession from you.
Well, my point is that you cannot afford to get down double digits in some of these SEC games. You got away with it with South Carolina. But I'm a believer that you should defer if you win the toss. BK makes $10 million a year. I don't know too many fans though that are agreeing with some of his calls on that. You agree?
Yeah.
You would defer?
Yeah.
Most people I've talked to would.
All right, everybody. I want to talk to you about Alumni Hall. Best place to get all your officially licensed LSU gear. Alumni Hall, they're the ultimate shopping destination for LSU fans. They've got it all the new Nike gear, Champion, Johnny O, On Reserve, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, and more. They've got the nice polos you've been looking for, hats, Yeti, and the new LSU gear is coming in daily. I don't know how far we are from cold weather, but I know that all the hoodies and the quarter zip pullovers are arriving. So shop at their store in Perkins Row or shop anytime online at alumni.com. And I have this discount code to share with all my friends and subscribers. So when you shop, use the code TigerBait, all one word, TigerBait, in store or online, and you're going to get 10% off your purchase. Go shop with my friends over at Alumni Hall, and use the code TigerBait to save.
Always great stuff. We talk about it every week. Give yourself, especially,
get over there now for those Nike shoes. They just got a big shipment in. If you were wanting to get those and look at them in person and try them on, they tell me they got the big shipment of the LSU Nike shoes in. Get them while you can. Head over to Perkins Row.
Hey, we had a lockdown in traffic yesterday. I don't know if you were out in it in the afternoon. That's a perfect time to go to Alumni Hall. Blue Bonnet Perkins is crazy anyway. but spend a half hour.
Don't forget to use the code TigerBait at the register. You're going to get 10% off at the register. I know a lot of people go and then they leave and they say, "Oh, I forgot to say TigerBait." Yeah, you can get 10% off. I mean, most LSU fans seem to go there and spend $300. I mean, that's a nice chunk of change. Pays for your lunch and more. All right. All right. Let's see what we got here.
By the way, real quick, Gio Lopez is the quarterback. Wears number 7. Excellent quarterback, 9 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's not easy to tackle. He runs low, 220 pounds. And Fluff Botwell, what a name. Excellent running back, averaging a 10 yards per carry. Very powerful, 5'10", 219. You better get your ass down low with pad level. You better use those legs. You better wrap up and explode.
He looks like an 80s running.
You fall backwards.
He looks like an 80s running back. If you look, see him?
Yeah. But
he tapes his thighs around like,
but I'm saying LSU players falling back, get up there. And Saban said this. I asked Saban about Jack Hunt tackling better the second year. You've got to get that pad level, explode, use the legs, wrap up. I got to be honest. One of the biggest disappointments, I think, for most Tiger fans, the tackling this year.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Yeah.
Got to get better.
John Sibley Butler in the house. Thank you, Doctor. LSU will beat South Carolina. He's meaning to say, but it will be tough. Hats off to Catholic High's Major Applewhite, a future SEC coach. I think a lot of people thought by now he would have been one by now. I'm going to go ahead and tell the story. I think it was 1996, and then so if it's 96 is right, that would be the Sean Alexander big game. Mm-hmm. Major is named after Major Ogilvy, former Alabama running back a long time ago. And now I've had this dispute with someone. He did not have an offer from LSU. LSU did not offer Major Applewhite.
I don't think they did either.
They did not, but he went for a recruiting visit, which they give all recruits in the area tickets to the game. He sat in the recruit section for the Alabama game and was cheering for Alabama. DiNardo's staff made him leave.
Well, I don't know if you remember this, but when this is the start of the Gridiron Club, and they were having the bash in the field house, and Major Applewhite was actually at the field house. This is the night before signing, but he was a little bitty guy. He was a hell of a player. He was fearless, but he couldn't have been more than 5'10", 5'11", 170 pounds.
Yeah, he was undersized.
Playing at Catholic High.
And I also think that was the year it was Rohan Davey that year that they were both born in 78. We looked it up, but I have to go back and look.
But anyway, but I think you're right. And look, he did well. He played at Texas, and of course
he did. He had a great career.
Dr. Butler is, and Doc always appreciate you tuning into the show and giving.
DiNardo and them didn't think that was too funny.
No, he did not.
Of course, in 96, they were feeling pretty good, DiNardo and them at that point.
Yeah. Texas, by the way, had Arch Manning start last week. They host Mississippi State. Quinn Ewers, their excellent starting quarterback, is still on the shelf. We talked about Arch last week. He's got a chance to put some groundwork down and lay the landscape for him to be a really solid SEC quarterback next year.
Wilk, I feel this team's biggest issue is when the offense scores, the defense gives up a score, and when the defense gets a stop, your offense gets stopped. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of that, and not capitalizing when you've got opportunities to really put a team away. We'll see if their entire game comes about. Dane Bergeron, good evening, Mike and Buddy. Glad to have you here, Dane. Hal Jubin, what about Cenac, Mike? Is he asking for a ridiculous amount of money? I'm sure he is. I just don't, he's going to be at LSU. I was told today that they're going to have a nice group of official visitors for the Ole Miss game.
Yeah, for those that don't know about him, talk about him. He's a big
player. Former kid at Newman, 6'10", 6'11", up in Missouri now at a prep school. And I just wonder, it's kind of like, I think the pressure for Matt McMahon to sign Cenac is maybe not as much had that kid remained at Newman. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he's out of state somewhere, it doesn't look on paper, the average fan's not going to look at that, and I don't think it puts as much pressure on him to sign him. But look, they've been recruiting him for years, and they really want him. I don't know how that one's going to end up.
But you got different sugar daddies. You got football sugar daddies. You got baseball sugar daddies. You got men's basketball, women's basketball sugar daddies. You got to have them. We all know that you can get involved with all of the collectives now, and they're trying to do a little bit of that with more impetus with the fans, and you can pay for a win or this or that, all these creative deals. But it's going to cost LSU a bunch of money to get that.
By the way, put up almost 32 minutes of practice footage from today. And all of it in high def, 60 frames, and check that out, as well as Matt McMahon's presser. I really noticed a difference in him today. I think he's a lot more comfortable. I think he's upbeat, and I really think this basketball team's good. I think they're going to be exciting to watch. They're going to be high pace, and I think they're an NCAA tournament team.
I think they're going to bring back the pride of LSU basketball.
So anybody says I'm always negative, there you go. I'm predicting this team to be an NCAA tournament team.
But I like the pride. He's going to be back.
Yeah.
He's going to bring it back. And folks, don't forget about our friends over, Mike and Alex over at Pride Roofing.
Absolutely. Let's hear from Mike and Alex. Where are they at? Here we go. No, hold on.
I agree with Mike. I do think LSU basketball this year, men's, is going to have a legitimate shot to be in the NCAA tournament.
All right, Mike and Alex, here we go.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection, and on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There it is, 855-PRIDE-16. Say TigerBait when you ask for your free roof inspection, and they're going to give you TigerBait Premium free for a year. That's a $99 value. They're paying for it. And if anybody had any damage from the storm a couple of weeks ago, if you're in Thibodaux, you're in Houma, anywhere in South Louisiana, have them come out. They do free tarping. Let them earn your business. If your insurance company is asking for multiple bids, let them give you a bid and tell them to sharpen the pencil like Buddy always says. They'll get real competitive. And, of course, Mike Faraday, a local kid I grew up with, and LSU grad, and built a fantastic company. You want to do business with folks like these people.
I'm superstitious. You know, the first time I pointed to his pride, I mentioned Brian Kelly, and he got LSU to Atlanta in year one. This is year three for BK, but there is something about pride. It's just not a MO. It's not a word. It's what we believe in. It's what we give you from A to Z, commercial, residential, metal roofs. We talk about it all the time. They will sharpen the pencil. And when you have these storms, I want to wish all those folks in Tallahassee, Panama City, Destin, everybody. Tallahassee looks like it's going to get swamped, but this is when you find out what kind of people they are after these storms and what they do, how they give back. All we ask is that you give them an opportunity. 855-PRIDE-16.
But by the way, something else I'm running into. I've had multiple friends move, and both of them had roofs that were over 10 years old. Did you know that it's not in a written rule, but it's getting to be where whoever buys your house, their insurance company, and I think there's a FEMA component to it, they will not insure the house unless you get a new roof put on it. So that's you're running into that. So if you're selling a house and your roof is over 10 years old, Pride has a really nice program where you give them $1,000, they put on the new roof, and you don't pay them for the roof until closing, until you sold the house.
There you go. And
you've got a year to sell the house. Cannot beat that deal.
Give them an opportunity, folks. 855-PRIDE-16.
Absolutely. All right. Here we go. Dane Bergeron, Mike, I want to invite those two journalists to the TigerBait cocktail party. The East Side was hell on earth Saturday. Yeah, Dane, I saw your post on that, and I don't think Jacques was saying what you were saying. I don't know what Gilbo said, but I imagine you probably might be right on that one. But Yeah, but if we do have our TigerBait cocktail party, I hope we're going to get that scheduled soon. I'll certainly invite them. But I'm sure you guys actually, you guys probably want a Glenn Gilbo dunking booth out in the parking lot. Michael Duon with a super chat. Thank you. If Nuss leaves for the NFL this year, who will be starting quarterback next year? Yeah, that's why it's scary. You don't want him to leave. You don't want to go in saying that your true freshman Bryce Underwood or your redshirt freshman Colin Hurley or your sophomore Ricky Collins, that's who your guys are. You really need Nussmeier to come back, and then you have a battle for your number 2, and then you're going to have some transfer portal things.
Let's make sure people understand this is what people do. Now, he's played 4 games. He hasn't played top-notch competition until you talk about USC and Carolina. And so we got to wait to see how he plays the rest of the year against the SEC.
I think he's going to play.
But my point is now, I don't think really people know whether he's a first-round possible or not. We got to wait to see.
Well, and that's the other part of it. I mean, you might know better than me, but I haven't researched what the quarterback draft looks like in the spring and where he might. But when you start naming some of the guys, Ewers at Texas, and I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't trade Nussmeier for them.
Yeah. Well, let's see what he does, but we wish that he continues to play well and obviously stays healthy.
Off-roading with Max, Ole Miss and Tiger Stadium on a Saturday night. Don't get much better than that. We win, go Tigers. I tell you what, if LSU, I don't know what the line will be. We'll see when that comes, but that will be a huge win if LSU wins that, because this is the Ole Miss team to where if Lane Kiffin doesn't get it done this year, he never will.
Well, I think you got a shirt on that kind of projects the school he might be going to after this year.
Well,
Florida.
Ole Miss wears this color jersey too.
Yeah, Florida is where you've been predicting.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll see what happens. By the way, if you want to count the number of championships that Lane Kiffin has won in his total career, I'll give you a hint.
Same number as BK?
0. No, BK's won some championships, but they were smaller conference championships. But bottom line is that Kiffin, like you alluded to, they pushed all the chips in the middle of the table this year, and they paid for what they're getting from the portal. Walter Nolan and all those defensive guys, we'll see. But once again, they've got Kentucky at home, at Carolina, and then at LSU. Everybody knows back-to-back road games in the SEC, very tough.
Chance Babbitt enjoyed seeing Coach McMahon and Mulkey this week. Both seem confident. I tell you what, if you watch the Mulkey practice video that I posted on YouTube, the LSU women on Monday, they are very quick in the front court. That influx of transfers and Jada Richard, they've got a lot of options there now. Big
foe, Michaela Williams, who has
she looks lean.
Yeah, she's leaned up and she looks fantastic. And of course, Anissa Morrow, who has been fantastic coming over in the transfer portal from last year.
I want to make that trip to Chicago.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
I'll definitely be going to Shreveport. You heard Mulkey. She thinks that's going to be a sellout. You think they sell out that game in that arena in Shreveport?
Yeah.
Against Grambling?
Yeah, I do. LSU sells. You know that.
I'm sure Grambling's going to bring a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you heard her call out the band? She called out the LSU band.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yeah, she goes, I understand we're not bringing our band. Maybe they don't want to get shown up by Grambling.
Oh, goodness.
Or I'm paraphrasing. She
she
said it a different way, but that's what she was saying.
I'm sure they're extenuating.
A little shot across the bow from Mulkey.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The bands don't usually travel with basketball teams anyway. Unless it's tournament.
Small ones.
Yeah. S. Young, I want to know why you don't think Musk can be transcendent in his second starting year. I think he can be. I just don't know overall the team next year with what you're going to lose. And the games that are going to be road games opening up at Clemson. Of course, we don't know what kind of shape Clemson is going to be at that point, but that's not going to be easy. We're going to see.
At Oklahoma, at Ole Miss, at Alabama, at Vandy would be your 4 road games.
Yeah, I mean,
next year.
I mean, regardless of what LSU's win-loss record is going to be, I think Nussmeier is going to look fantastic or very good every week. That's just me. I think I got to get that defense to help you out. Dane Bergeron going out on a limb. He says, I predict the Lady Tigers to make the NCAA tournament.
That's funny, Snake. Tell Dr. Daniels you got that one after a half a sip.
And with a super chat, he says, who dressed Mike tonight? What's up with that sissy blue shirt? Man,
that's the one you should have.
I got
to the press box.
A half of my closet.
Saturday. Of course, you would have sweated through it.
Half my closet sissy blue, unfortunately.
Yeah, but how many shirts did you go through on Saturday? Chester tells me.
No, well, I'm one of those media people sitting in the air conditioning, so
okay.
It wasn't too bad.
All right. By the way,
but we have temperatures in the evening, Friday and Saturday night in the mid 60s.
Yeah.
So it's going to be nice.
Great weekend weather.
Day will still be 88, whatever degrees, approaching 90, but your evenings on Friday and on Saturday are going to be in the mid 60s.
Yeah.
So that's going to be nice. All right. Our buddy Blake Ruffino in the house. AYS Sports, Mike and Buddy. Let's go. Glad to have you with us, Blake.
I was thinking about Bior earlier. I had him on the show a couple of times. I got to get him back, but hadn't talked to him in a while. No, he does a great job. Carter does a great job. Everybody is multitasking. And, Blake, let's give him a shout out. He was the first two to have those latest baseball commitments that Jay Johnson brought in. So kudos to Blake. He loves that baseball. But have you talked to him about this LSU football team? Is he on par with you, losing 3 to the next 5?
Who am I asking? You asked me about who?
Ruffino.
No,
LSU losing 3 to.
No, you have to ask him. He hadn't told me what he thinks.
Okay. So I'm trying to see if I got myself in a bad bet. So that includes South Alabama, Arkansas,
Ole Miss,
Texas A&M, and then
Alabama.
Ole Miss and Alabama. Okay, so so you're saying Alabama and Ole Miss is going to definitely beat them, and either Arkansas or A&M is going to beat them.
Arkansas is going to be tough. A&M is going to be tough. The road team never wins in the LSU A&M series.
Lately, it's been that way.
Yeah.
So, look, we're just
and by the way, if you've seen A&M, they're playing very well. They're coached well. They're coached well,
but I don't know how well they're playing right now.
I've seen them
10 last week.
They don't make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Look, Blake says he's going 11-1. There you go.
Oh, he's messing with us. I don't believe that for a second.
He tells me 6-6 off when we're on the phone, but he'll go on a show and say, "No, I'm kidding." He doesn't say that.
Look, it's a crapshoot. I don't think BK even knows what they're going to go. And right now, you got to worry about this week in this game. Then you get the open date. Can we ask for one favor for this weekend? Can we see number 3? And can we see him knock some of the rust off? Chris Hilton, don't go to the casino with this young man. He's had the worst freaking luck of anybody. Love to see him running down the field and score a touchdown, but BK said it's going to take him a little while. But he is more than likely going to probably play, and I'd love to see him knock the rust off and catch a few balls.
Robert Brantley, does Mike even like LSU? It's hard to tell. I'm just trying to set the stage, guys. I'm not going to pump you full of sunshine. It's going to be a rough go here.
But it hasn't been etched in stone yet. They are 3-1. Look, I agree with you. It goes to hell in a handbasket if they lose this game. But if they win this game and don't have any.
Oh, no, I haven't winning this week.
No, but I'm saying they're 4-1 with 2 weeks to get ready for Ole Miss, a team that's coming off back-to-back road games. And 2 years ago, they came in here at number 7 in the country and proceeded to lose 5 freaking games in a row.
This is not that Ole Miss team.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
History does have a way to predict it. Who thought LSU would beat Alabama 2 years ago? The first time Saban came against Kelly and BK.
Dane Bergeron just picked at Buddy's scab. It used to be my scab. Now Buddy's complaining about it. He says, I still do not like Frank's running back rotation.
I said it earlier. God bless Josh Williams because he's a hell of a person.
It wasn't bad last weekend.
Wasn't bad last weekend, but when a guy gets a little swing pass,
I've
been asking for him for the last 4 weeks, dink and dunk, throw outside, check down, swing passes, bubbles, whatever, in space. You dump it to Caden Durham. He runs away from everybody and scores. Guess how long it was before he got back on the field? At least 2 series.
Yep.
So I'm a believer you play the hot guy, and I just don't think Frank does that sometimes. Sorry, Frank.
All right. Here we go.
Dr. Daniels, I agree with you.
Got a brand new attitude, like bing bang boom on a pink balloon, like I just do what I want to do, like ooh, brand new.
There it is. For the very best buyer experience of a new luxury SUV or sedan, call Genesis of Lafayette toll free. Set up a test drive. Call them at 877-856-2961. And please tell them TigerBait sent you. Ask for Blake Mesh, his sales manager, Jaron Guidry. Superb people, huge LSU fans. Beautiful showroom in Lafayette right there on Johnson Street. And there is a reason, and I say it every time, that they sell more Genesis vehicles than any other Genesis dealer in Louisiana. And they'll go all the way. They'll go 6 states over to find one. If you're real picky about whatever color interior you want, they're going to find it for you. And let them give you a call. I tell you what, just to throw a little shade, the missus in the other room wanted a GV70, and the local dealer acted like they couldn't order one, didn't seem to want to locate one, wanted to sell one in the wrong color on the floor, and never followed up. I called Blake Mesh, and within 2 weeks, she had a new vehicle, and they went all the way to Key West, Florida to get it. That's why you call Genesis of Lafayette. All right.
She's very happy. I won't tell
Absolutely,
the joke.
she is.
I won't tell the joke, but I think she likes the car almost as much as she likes Mike.
There you go.
Well, she is quite happy.
That was awful, Brad. He says, Mike, what'd you think of the Saints choking away that game away on Sunday? That was awful.
By the way, the injury list is a long list. They're running on empty, going to play the big ATL on Sunday. But, Mike, you get 3 turnovers, and I don't think they got any points out of it. You got to do better. They look like the old Saints. Once again, Eric McCoy, their big-time center, out for a couple of months with a groin. They've got problems. Going from the best-looking team in 2 weeks, they lose this weekend. They're back to 500.
Michael Duyon with a $2 super chat. Thank you. If you go to Chicago with LSU, be careful. Yeah, I've been to Chicago before, a couple of times for 5-star challenges back in the day. Don Wheat, any word on the new PMAC and how Jubin follows up? You and I will be in our grave before that gets built. I'm going to disagree. You know, when all that stuff happened earlier in the year and they said, well, we're going to put out packages and we'll have it in June. And then it was quiet. And if you guys happen to see the little video that I did where the media were getting the tour of the new scoreboards before the season kicked off, and because Kelly Zinn was there, it was the opportunity to ask her that question. That's really the only reason why I went that day. And I got it off. And if you listen to what she said and then me talking to some other people, I believe it is going to happen. I don't know. I think we're going to probably know something before the fall is up or before the new year. But I think you're going to know that there is a couple of entities out there that have submitted proposals. And I think they're just getting their ducks in a row and everything they've got to do, but I think it is going to happen.
And I think Hal was just echoing the sentiment, but when's it going to get done? As we know with Louisiana politics.
I think it will happen within 5 years, like they say.
We'll see. I'm with Hal there. We'll see if they can do it on time. It's going to come in late and over budget. It happens in Louisiana every day.
Mike, I'm good. I'm glad. I would love to see a new PMAC. And that's the other question, because the PMAC is going to stay. So it got me to thinking, okay, well, all this issue with naming arenas and arguing about whose name should and shouldn't be on the court. And, you know, will that always be the PMAC? And then the new arena will be whatever corporate sponsor Annie's up to have their name on it. So the PMAC won't be a basketball arena. It'll be used for, I guess, volleyball and graduations and whatever else. I mean, I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, well, we're talking 5+ years, but once again, Looks like it'll be the LSU golf course, huh? The old golf course.
I think so. And I think that was one of the hangups too.
Yeah.
Was but yeah, I think you're going to see it. But Dane Bergeron, on a serious note, hats off to all the players for enduring that football game on Saturday. I was surprised there weren't a lot of heat injuries. Yeah, I mean, that's the other part of it. We're all talking about how brutal it was on folks sitting on the east side and the UCLA fans kind of in the corner of the South and what they were getting hit with. But what about the football players that had to play in that? Yeah, the West had a nice shade for most of it, if not all of it. But the football players had to play in it with all that gear on, running. And there wasn't a whole lot of cramping and everything we saw. So both players on both teams were really listening to their trainers and took in a bunch of fluids for 3 or 4 days beforehand.
But it's enough to build up an appetite to want to go get a big old fat cowboy steak. And I know you love that. And Mike, bottom line is I like the pork chop. And do you, after a game with that kind of heat, and like you said, you're not sweating like the normal fan, but are you more thirsty and want the libations and the liquids, or you hungry after a game like that? Because you and Preston had to do post game. That was a long day for you guys Saturday.
Every now and then, they'll put a big ice chest of beer at the end of the night for media.
Oh, really?
But I haven't seen that in a couple of years.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd be able to do that.
But yeah, Kenny Haynes with a super chat. He says, Mike and Buddy, what do you make of UCLA quitting with 5 minutes to go? Is that how you saw it?
I didn't see that, because if they quit, LSU would have probably covered the spread. Didn't you tell me that?
Yeah, I'm in the back.
Was upstairs wanting to know if they were going to score that last touchdown.
I'm in the back of I'm in the back of the end zone. I'm always in the back of the end zone with like 5 minutes to go, and I'm hearing guys in the crowd saying, "Man, please punch it in, beat the spread."
Yeah,
you know.
Look, I think you're talking about sissy blue jerseys, soft-ass Californians who are coming over here with a 2-hour time change and in brutal conditions. I'm a little disappointed LSU didn't take them out back from the get-go. But the slow starts are something they've got to overcome. But I thought UCLA had a good game plan in the first half.
All right. All TigerBait shows are proudly brought to you this football season by Stroube's Seafood and Steaks, located at 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Stroube's prides itself on providing a 5-star dining experience for a reasonable price. Locally owned with ownership right there in the building, taking a daily level of pride in the food and service they provide that you're just not going to see at any corporate establishment. Stroube's features a full menu of specialty meats, including USDA prime black Angus steaks, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip, and a lot on the menu beyond just red meat. For those looking for something from seafood all the way to the dry-aged pork chop, they've got it all. Lobster, pasta, redfish, and much more. Book your reservation online tonight at Stroube's.com, and make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. And we just had a super chat from Kenny. I know he's booked a nice group to go over there in December, and they absolutely will take your groups. It's a great place if you're thinking for your company. Book a Christmas party there. They can handle nice-sized groups, beautiful bar area. Head over to Stroube's and tell them TigerBait sent you.
Tell Rick and the gang TigerBait sent you over there.
Absolutely.
They will appreciate hearing.
Did you go over there Friday night?
We had a conflict. Though.
Okay.
But I am definitely going over there. And we have been to Capital City Grill, of course, with the brunch.
Yeah, Preston was there today. Let's see. Dane Bergeron, this LSU team has no killer instinct to put any team away.
They are 0-4 against the spread. I know you don't think that they will cover the spread this weekend, or do you?
They're 0-4 against the spread, right?
Yeah, they haven't covered the spread yet. 20 points, I think, was the latest line we had. I hadn't seen it this week move, but does LSU cover 20?
Yeah, I think they do.
Okay.
But I do think South Alabama is going to score over 30.
Okay, so offensive fireworks.
Yeah.
Saturday night. Can we see Caden Durham a little bit more, Coach?
He's getting more and more touches every week. I'm not worried about that anymore.
He got 11, and he was the reason they beat South Carolina. He got 11. He got 8 last week.
All right, but is that including receptions?
Yeah.
Hi, Mike. Says Ethan. Glad to have you with us, Ethan. 45-20 LSU, says Andy Whitaker.
There you go, Andy.
Okay, Andy. Then he's taking the under on the 32.5. Yeah. Michael Duon says, I love me some snake. He keeps it spicy. Yeah, King Z agrees with me. It's 26 or 27 is the year. I think 26 is the year. Just got to be patient. I think they've got the right coaches at LSU. You got a fantastic class of 25 coming in. I think 26 is going to be another great recruiting class. I think they've got the NIL dialed in. I think you just got to be patient. Regardless of what I'm saying about this season, I do think that they're gonna be there in 26. I just think they're 2 years away from being able to. With how difficult this SEC is with everybody that's in it and the money that's flowing, they've got to get that defense right, and you can't do it with this staff with only one recruiting class. You need two.
Well, and here's the thing. You took over a program that had 40 scholarships. You have to deal with NIL on an escalating landscape. Transfer portal now, everybody can go whatever, so you can leave like a guy like Lance Hurd. Lance Hurd is a tough loss because he was physical, but he made the right choice to go to Tennessee. Now he's playing. He's been hurt the last 2 weeks. But my point is that, and BK answered it, you're not going to keep everybody. Some people are going to leave. Mac Markway, who would have thought he was going to leave? And then you have the –
and he got hurt. Blew his ACL.
In Nebraska. And then he had the addition of Oklahoma and Texas. It's changed dramatically in the 2-3 years that BK's been here. So you're going to have a little patience. I want to see a little more physicality. The skilled players are always there, going to be there, Mike.
Andy Whitaker, I've been blowing the be patient horn since BK got here. That horn gets retired in 26. I expect that team to be in the playoffs. Here's the thing about that too, Andy, is Jaden Daniels kind of, I've heard people say Jaden Daniels made LSU's program look like fool's gold, or there's a little bit of fool's gold with it. He masked a lot of LSU's problems. You got away with a lot of things because of how devastating of a weapon he was. Now look what he's doing. Monday Night Football, 91% completion percentage. Man, what would have LSU's record have been without Jaden Daniels the last 2 years?
Well, let's ask the more pertinent question on Monday night. How much is that worth to have two former Heisman Trophy quarterbacks playing the most clean game of ever? It's never happened before in 86 plus years. 0 punts, 0 turnovers. And Jaden Daniels was just fantastic. Joe Burrow looked okay. Didn't look like he was on all cylinders. But remember, Chase has been holding out. T. Higgins just back. But that was great brand and marketing for LSU Monday night. You can't put a price on what you got on Monday night.
Yeah, Shung, you don't think DJ Pickett will play his freshman year like Stingley? They are similar. He can, but LSU had a run there where you got Patrick Peterson as a freshman, Jamal Adams and what he looked like as a freshman, Tyrann Mathieu late in the year as a freshman, Stingley as a freshman. Who else? I mean, you've had some. Was it Trey Davis White as a freshman?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, you've had a lot. Who was the big kid from Eunice? The big cornerback.
Oh, Harold Simon.
Harold Simon. I mean, you've had some big hits with freshmen. So LSU's due. So
by the way,
Grant Delpit. There you go. Delpit.
And Toviano is going to be back at corner this week. I think BK let that slip. Zy Alexander is questionable, Mike. Ashton Stamps will be on the other side. In the nickel, and sometimes you'll see the little bitty guy, number 11, PJ Woodland, and then of course still J.K. Johnson and Jair.
And in that mold, I think Spears fits that mold too. By the way,
yeah,
he's going to get better every week.
Spears and Jordan Gilbert are at that rover spot right now. Yep. Major Burns back to the star, backed up by Colin Jackson. A lot of young players, and this is the time when you want to see those young guys get better and better because they're going to need them down the stretch. All
right, everybody. Capital City Grill. Preston was there tonight, and he sent me a photo of the carrot cake oozing all over the plate with all that cream cheese. Man, I could hammer that right now. And so get over to Capital City Grill, 100 Lafayette Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Your ideal lunch and dinner stop for your casual dining experience. Capital City Grill features a variety of sandwiches, burgers, seafood, pasta, steaks, and almost everything priced at $30 or below. And don't forget to celebrate a Tigers win at their Sunday morning brunch. I'll be there again next Sunday morning from 11 to 2 brunch, and they're still serving lunch until 3, which they've got a great French dip, burgers, club sandwiches, and all the usual lunch sandwich stuff that you would see. So book your reservation, capitalcitygrill.net, or just go to capitalcitygrill.net and look at their menu. And again, tell them TigerBait sent you in. And that French dip I had there, I hadn't had a good one in a long time, and theirs is fantastic.
Everything they have.
That Eggs Benedict you see on the screen is one of their fantastic dishes on their brunch menu. And so if you're from anywhere outside of Baton Rouge, you booked a hotel and you're staying overnight, of course you are, head over to Capital City Grill for brunch before you head out of town.
All right, let's have a little fun.
All right.
They score 30, you pick up the tab. They don't score 30.
All right.
I pick up the tab. No, wait, I said it wrong. They don't score 30. Okay. I'm saying they're not going to score 30. You got South Alabama. They score 30. I pick up the tab. They don't score 30. You pick up the tab.
Deal.
For brunch Sunday, folks, it's outstanding. See,
they have the mimosas too. So if you need the hair on the dog, you can get that done with the mimosas or anything you want, as long as you're not driving. So
I got them giving up 27 this weekend, not 30.
Okay.
Look, folks, the defense has got to be better. I think they're coming along. Interesting to see now that Perk's out with West Weeks back, Toviano back. Obviously, some other guys going to have to fill in. So interesting to see what Blake Baker dials up on the defensive side of things.
Blake Ruffino, Mike sounded really fat when he talked about that cake. Yeah.
You love that character.
I like my sweets, although I haven't been hitting them as bad the last couple of months, but every now and then I'll blow it out. And I'm still waiting. I know they're developing a huge cinnamon roll there. And as soon as that hits, you guys are going to hear about it. Eric DeLyon, Mike, do you think with our defensive ends getting better and better, do you think the D-line can get LSU one more win this year than they should get? No, I think I'm kind of my cake's baked on what this year is.
They've got to improve in all facets of the game. They've got to be smarter coaching. I mean, BK went for it on 4th and 7 on the.
But what's one more win? I'm not going.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What's he basing it? Is that from 8-4 to 9-3, or what's he?
Yeah, because I'm.
But I'm saying you've got to make some more conventional decisions. He went for it on 4th down in the first half on his 47-yard line. Most coaches would have punted. Taking the ball, all the little things. Everybody's got to know what their job is, but they've also got to be a little bit more fundamentally sound, got to tackle better. And as Snake said earlier, this team needs to develop a god-darn killer instinct.
They need to steal a game.
But
when we start talking about these next 5 games and doing what I've been saying, and people say I'm being negative, they need to win one of those. If they can steal that Ole Miss game, I mean, what will the line be on that probably?
Ole Miss right now is a slight favorite in that game.
Okay, they need to get that one. They need it, and then don't stub your toe at Arkansas or anything like that.
Yeah.
Don't give Billy Napier a gift in Florida.
Oh, come on.
Whatever it is, you got to take care.
You lose to Florida. No way, folks.
By
the way,
8-4 to 9-3. Here's the thing.
Okay, you said 8-4 to 9-3.
Eric, see, my thinking is that Oklahoma game decides whether LSU's 8-4, 7-5.
Yeah, I want to see what they look like against Ole Miss and Arkansas and A&M. I do think they should win the last 3 games, and that is at Florida, hosting Vandy, and hosting Oklahoma.
S. Young, 8-4 would be a disaster. Fire coaches for that in year 3. You ain't firing anybody with that price tag. No. He's here for many more years.
You can say some F words, but the F word that starts with fire is not going to be in the conversation.
Yeah, no.
That's silly talk. Sorry.
Yeah. Andy Whitaker, this is pretty bold. I think LSU wins the next 4 games. Man.
So that would be South Alabama. It's ready for 2 weeks for Ole Miss, and then wins back-to-back road games. At that point, they would be 7-1 with another open date, getting ready for Alabama. Man, I don't see it right now, but once again, I'm still holding out hope that they can get on the same page. Something has been disconnected, and I'm waiting to see this team and this coaching staff.
I like you, Andy. Andy's Mr. Positive. I like it.
That's good. Glad to have
That's good.
I'm
I'm
liking it, Andy.
good. I'm good on Andy.
Want to see a little progress this week before I can jump onto that bandwagon. Kentucky at Ole Miss, by the way, is 11 o'clock game. You want to watch the 11 o'clock game.
Yeah, if we lose 3 or 4, Mike, 3 of 5, Mike, how do you get to 8-4? Well, because you got 1 loss right now.
Yeah, you win out. You got to win out the rest of them. So that would.
And like I said, Oklahoma decides whether you're 8-4, 7-5 to end the season.
Oklahoma, by the way, made a quarterback change. And obviously, Josh Heupel. Man, I did not realize Tennessee. Pete Cordelli, my guy on Friday, he told me their front seven's really good. Nico, I can't say his last name twice in a row, but Nico's worth every penny he got. Now, he got $8 million for 3 years. I don't know how much you've seen of him, but what is the going rate for a big-time quarterback now? 1.5, 2 mil?
I think so.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I don't think it's any less than $1 million.
No, it's got to be $1 million or more.
Yeah, not at a school like LSU. I'm gonna be real curious about this. Carvis Dury says, I think South Carolina beats Ole Miss. I'm gonna be real curious to see how South Carolina finishes out.
Yeah, that'll be an excellent game. I want to see how they and look.
But I want to see how South Carolina is going to finish the season, because it sets up well for them if they can stay healthy. I think they're a good team.
Yeah, and they're very physical too.
Yeah,
so they could bust it. If Jackson Dart gets.
I don't see them going less than 8-4.
Hmm?
I don't see South Carolina going less than 8-4.
I don't have the schedule in front of me, but they're a lot better than we thought. How about this, folks? We got a little OT action on the Wednesday show tonight.
Oh, I didn't even realize it. Here we go. Yeah, one more, and then we'll get out of here. Mike, I never liked the 10th year at contract. It should be like every 3 years and get raises as you win and recruit. How do these agents sucker these ADs into giving out big contracts? I just wonder if when you start doing 10-year deals like that there ought to be some clauses in it where at a school like LSU, if you have, I don't know, over a multi-year period, if you have too many 8-win seasons in a row that years start to fall off the back end, I think there ought to be some things like that in it.
Well, I think the longevity of the contract is certainly not common, but everybody is getting 5 and 6 years, and here's what happens. They win a couple of championships. They win. Look, we know this happens with everybody. You win and you get to a level, and then all of a sudden you win a natty and you go back up and you get more. But it does seem.
How about a couple of 8-win seasons in a row, and your contract, what's remaining is half?
I don't think he would sign that deal though. See, that's the problem. Jimmy Sexton, the agents, and the coaches have a lot of leverage, but it just depends on who your AD is and who else wants the job. But you're going to have to keep the faith with BK for another year or two. And then I think what you said this, and I didn't want to jump in the swimming pool here, but if LSU is not in the playoffs in 2 more years, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. I don't see any way they can make the playoffs this year. Do you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So, but if you go 2 more years without making the playoffs, that'd be 5 years. Of course, now we just changed to 12 now, and they're going to change to 14 and 26. I think that the LSU fan base would get a little antsy on that.
You got to get 26 is the year, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We went an hour and 10 minutes tonight. If you enjoyed the show, please hit that like button. Got a lot for you on TigerBait.com. Go check out the front page. A lot of it's free, but go subscribe for $1. We're on the message boards day and night. Any questions you have, recruiting, what have you, I'll get to them as soon as possible. And We're going to be out in full force at multiple high school games on Friday night. Post-game show not immediately, about an hour, 15 minutes after the game ends, Press and I. And so we'll see you guys there in post-game on Saturday night. Good night, everybody.